Annie and welcome to episode 5 of the LDR Chronicles. Today we are going to be discussing commitment. We are going to be talking about whether the relationship is worth it, whether the other person is worth all the energy, the time, and the money that you will be putting into this relationship. So first off, this is purely my opinion and other people may think differently, but I don't believe that there is such thing as the one, because realistically there's more than 7 billion people in the world, and out of those 7 billion people, I'm sure there's a couple of hundreds of thousands of people who we could potentially get on really well with in a romantic and loving kind of way. But the difference between you and me is that we've chosen that one person out of a couple of thousand that happens to live in another country, perhaps even on the other side of the planet. And I guess this is where it gets a lot more complicated, because we're intentionally making a choice to love somebody and to commit to somebody who we only see on our screens on a day-to-day basis. And if we are planning to move forward with the relationship and to commit to the relationship, we have to really know whether that other person is worth it. So how do you know if they're worth it? How do you know that they are worth all this time and trouble? And before I go on with my little checklist of whether or not the other person is worth it, I just want you to remember that love is a choice. Love isn't just a fleeting initial spark that you get at the beginning of a relationship. Love is always a choice. So number one is communication comes easily. Now when I say communication, I don't mean like utilizing tools such as Skype, because we all know that sometimes the internet really fails us and it's not easy. But when I say communication, I mean the actual conversations between you and your significant other are easy. They just come naturally. You don't have to force yourself or get nervous or feel pressure that you have to keep on making dialogue. It just comes naturally, and also you guys are comfortable in each other's silences. I think when you reach that point where you're like on the phone with each other or on Skype and you're absolutely comfortable and you can just say anything and not worry about what the other person might think because you know each other that well, I think that that is a big sign that you could potentially live the rest of your life with this person. Secondly is that if they've shown dedication and progress in the relationship. Now I don't mean dedication as in, oh my god, I love you so much, I will die for you, although that is pretty dedicated. But I mean dedication as in they've shown progress in progressing the relationship, and that can be through many ways, because let's face it, a long distance relationship isn't going to move anywhere unless you make the means to actually go for it. And that is through earning money to buy that plane ticket to come see you, and planning and researching about the future, things like visas, resident permits, work options, living arrangements. These are the things that if they've shown that they are willing to plan that out and research more about it and actually make an effort to make substantial progress, that's showing that they're willing to commit to you, and so you should be also able to commit to them. A relationship is more than just the feelings and the conversations, it's also about planning a life together. Thirdly, you solve problems and issues in a mature manner. Now this may be difficult because we all have our different personalities and we all have different ways of dealing with complex situations, but I think being able to understand the other person and knowing where they're coming from and their perspective really helps to solve issues really quickly, because as human beings we are very self-centered. The world revolves around us, it rarely revolves around the other person. And being in a relationship, it's no longer just a world centered around you, it's a world centered around the both of you. So being able to see things from their perspective and also from the perspective as a couple will really help to alleviate any issues that may arise, and hopefully you can put those issues to bed. If you find that there's always problems and issues arising that can't be solved, then I think that is an indication of how well you guys work together as a team, and perhaps it's time for you to find another partner. Number 4 is the mutual understanding that you're both happy within the relationship and there's just no need to question what if or have wondering eyes for other people. Now this is especially important, I think, when it comes to younger people, especially with less relationship experience. And as young adults, we have a lot of, drama when it comes to relationships, and we're always wanting something better or something that we can't have. If you're both at a place where you're happy together and there's just no need to flirt with other guys or flirt with other girls, then I think that's a really good indication that perhaps this is going to be it. Committing to a long distance relationship is really difficult because in the near future or the distant future, one of you will have to make the choice to up and move. You're going to have to give up your hometown, your comfortable life, and move to a new destination. And that in itself has a lot of pressure and stress that comes along with it. Things like culture shock and homesickness. Those will be factors that you will have to take into consideration when you decide that yes, this person is worth it, and yes, I'm going to move to the other side of the world for them. For some people, perhaps it will be a lot easier because you live in the same country, just a different city. And others, it will be like the hardest thing that they will ever have to do in life because they're giving up their creature comforts and stepping into new territory, literally. But yes, that's just some of my advice in considering whether or not the other person is worth it. But yes, if you truly believe that the other person has made a tremendous effort to progress the relationship and that your relationship is just so comfortable and easy and that you guys are happy together, then totally commit yourself to it. Also know that it is a two-way street and you have to give as good as you get. Anyway, moving on to the LDR question. What's your opinion on a girl meeting the guy for the first time? Do you disagree or agree in any terms who should meet first in each country? Now this is a really great question because I think the mentality is that the guy should always meet the girl in their country first, but I don't think it really matters. What matters is the situation of each person because everybody lives in different circumstances. So in my relationship, Matthias was the first to come visit me in Australia only because he was on holidays, he had the money, and he had the time. If he hadn't visited me in Australia, I would have visited him in Sweden the year after since I was going to be studying in Europe the next year anyway. So I don't really think it matters who visits who first. I think it's just purely the person who is in the best position, the best financial position, and the best life position. But in terms of safety, I guess I can see why a lot of females may be hesitant to fly to another country to meet a guy who she's only been talking to online, especially if it's a country where they don't really know much about the language or the culture. But if you are a girl who is going to visit their guy for the first time, you just have to be headstrong and cautious and street smart and just be assured that you're not being tricked into something by some random stranger on the internet who wants to potentially kidnap you and then sell you on the market, because that's just not nice. And always tell your parents where you're going, where you are, who you're staying with. If it's not your parents, tell somebody so that you don't end up in an unfortunate situation that no one can get you out of. But fortunately for Matthias and I, we both come from first world countries. We're very privileged in that way. I'm going to recommend this book. It is called The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts. It's by Gary Chapman. It is a #1 New York Times bestseller. I just really highly recommend anyone in any relationship to read this book. Even if you're not in a relationship, this will definitely help you in your personal relationships with your family and friends. I'll provide a link for where you can purchase the book online, and I really, again, highly recommend it, and I would love to discuss the book with you guys if you guys have the chance to read it. Love isn't just about being romantic and shit. It's a lot more. This episode's featured couple is Chloe from Glasgow, Scotland, and Leon from Manchester, England. So despite the fact that they only live 4 hours away by train, I still think their relationship is highly adorable. They met each other through Facebook and have been together since February of 2014. The first time they met in real life was July of this year when Chloe went to Manchester, and now Leon goes to visit Chloe whenever she's on holidays from college, and she says that she feels that it's amazing that she met someone like Leon and that she really appreciates his support in what she does. So thank you, Chloe, for sharing your wonderful LDR story. If you are in an LDR and would like to share your LDR story with me and potentially be featured on the LDR Chronicles, then feel free to email me. All the links and information will be in the description below. And likewise, if you have an LDR question that you'd like me to answer, just leave them in the comments below. Hopefully this episode has been informative and helpful to those of you who are about to take that plunge into committing to a life of adventure and wonder and absolute uncertainty. Let me tell you, once you find the right person, I just say, hell yeah, go for it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! If you truly believe and can see that the other person has made a humongous effort, humongous, is that a word? I think I just like mixed humongous and tremendous together.